Ah yes, the common scale, loved by many, hated by many more. But like any other tool in fitness used to measure quantifiable objectives and progress, it's one of those things that can be useful to your benefit or misused to your detriment. It all depends on whether you use it a smart way or a dumb way. And to help me illustrate the dumb ways versus the smart ways, I've brought along a good friend of mine. Hey guys! Really doing this? All right, here we go. So first, the dumbest way to possibly use it is to use it as the sole metric that you're using to quantify your progress. Of course you need to use the scale on a regular basis. How else are you ever going to know if you're making progress in your weight loss journey? Ignore subjective things that don't really mean anything, like clothes are fitting better, you look better, you feel better, you perform better. None of that matters whatsoever because humans are entirely blind to any sort of progress whatsoever unless they can fit a number to objectively measure their progress, and naturally, the scale is the solitary and singular best way to do that. And a well-intentioned idea or way of using it is to avoid it altogether, which seems great, but is kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. What are you doing? Don't be on the scale. It's gonna ruin your self-esteem and self-worth and tells you nothing about your health and wellness. Get off the scale. Never, ever use the scale. God, I keep telling you people all the time. You motherfucker! So this is a good time to remind ourselves of a little something called Goodhart's law or principle. And that law states that a quantifiable metric of progress ceases to become a reliable way to measure progress once it becomes the goal. Because the moment that becomes what we're trying to manipulate, we can therefore compromise all of the other metrics that are certainly valid ways of measuring progress in efforts to maximize that one metric. And that's why one of the smartest ways to use the scale is not to track and pay attention so much to daily changes, but rather instead to track and identify long-term trends. So you could be up in weight one day, down in weight the next day. Doesn't really show you what's really going on. But if you have a general trend in one direction or another, that's a lot more suitable. And that's one of the reasons why so-called smart scales and stuff can really come into play, because they can track all of that data to help you identify these trends and put them in relation to other events and things that you're going along with diet and exercise. And collecting data from like smart scales and Fitbits and trackers and stuff is great, but always remember the entire point of collecting all that data is to help you make better decisions about how you're living and eating and doing your exercise. But if you're not looking at that data and thinking, according to this, I should change this about how I'm eating or this about how I'm training, then that data collection is just a form of entertainment. You may as well have just a scale with a screen on it that shows cat videos, because it's basically going to allow you to get to the same place. Just a lot of, that's interesting, but nothing ever changes. So the scale can be a useful tool to measure and even help you make more progress, as long as you're using it to track trends and then you're making better decisions off of those data points of what is trending. But beyond that, you don't need it. You're certainly not going to be blind to progress if you're not weighing yourself on a regular basis. So adopt it or discard it based on just how you feel about it and what your preferences are. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Like it if you like this, subscribe if you want to see more, and more videos here. Be fit, live free.